looking it up now. The name sounds familiar, but I don't think I can recall seeing it. Gorky Park. Yeah, here. Oh, that's an old movie. William Hurt, Lee Marvin. Yeah, 1983. That's really going back there. Yeah, I got my space heater on down here. And feels good because it's cold down here in the shack because it was so warm. Upstairs, the heater, that's where the thermostat is for the heater, and it doesn't know how cold it is down here, you know. So I have a little space heater I turned on to warm me up for the short amount of time I'm going to be down here. My son may be listening in. How you doing, Perry? Maybe we can meet up on 10 meters in a little bit. He's about 30 miles or so from here. We have a good pipeline on 10. So what are you going to use 2 meters for? Just like local repeaters and stuff like that? I've got a 2 meter and 440 rig sitting here. I can't remember the last time I turned it on. N9PVF. W2SDR.
Exactly. W2SDR and well, we get a lot with it. And, or at least so this is useful to, I haven't been a spotter, registered spotter for a while, but I used to do that a lot in the coast. And this one guy's very nice. Oh, he has this car. This is a car. W1RV, Rich. He has an 82-tank car. Almost Night Rider format. But amazing craftsman. One cargo up. Now, I know where he goes to take the car, and he gets maybe working on it. Now, from LA Automotive, a mile from my house. I didn't think he worked in Porsche. Anyway, so he used to have a huge game station. What's that? Over on the road spread. I don't know if I brought a separate. Yeah, I think I did bring a loaf that was with the crust wasn't so hard. So he's giving me a couple of coax stitches. And that, you know, just nice guy. Talked to him on the repeater a couple of times. And you know, I'm in the car, I'm on the repeater. Until 20 meters picks up again. Because I used to work HF Mobile an awful lot. We used to drive an awful lot in the car from North Andover to Dartmouth and back again. At least twice a month, as well as all over. Going back, because I'd be commuting at least an hour a day each way, assuming I was in front truck. So hopefully that gives you the short stitch. But anyway, you sound terrific. I got dual reversing here. The 145 does a great job on you and getting rid of all the garbage. And the SWA is thinking it's the texture. You might as well go 25. If you look, the SWA gets stuff is limited out of it. So, you know, even though you want to sound like WOR, I wouldn't hear the difference. W2SDR.
SW8, that's a Drake, right? That was that little receiver that they made. And what, refresh my memory. What Porsche do you have? What model's that?
I have it's a 97 by production, a December 97 Boxster. They didn't make too many different options. But the guy who bought it has everything done to the inside. So it's all carbon fiber. It's all leather. But nothing fancy with the motor. And they decided to credential it as a 98. So it's a 98 Porsche Boxster, almost 35,000 miles, convertible. And every time you look at one of the Porsche books, collector books, when they show the emergence of the Boxster, the color scheme I have is the color scheme they show. Arctic silver with this, what they call Boxster red leather. And it is quite pretty. Last summer I had the car detailed. Oh my God, I hadn't seen the leather look that good before I bought the car. W2SDR.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. Yeah. It's hardly any miles. I guess you don't drive it much. How long have you had it, Over?
I got it 2005, 2006. So it was typically, it's only a summer car, and maybe 3,000 this summer. Last summer, not very much. We stopped doing the trips up to Montreal and other places in it. So we just do lunch trips. So we go to find a place that has a place to eat overlooking the water, and there are too many in Massachusetts around here. And we go down. So I'm going to start trying to find places in Connecticut or maybe New Hampshire. Not New Hampshire. Rhode Island. Maybe near the Cape. But, you know, that's what I use it for. It's a 5-speed. Carol can drive it because she can drive 5-speed. But, you know, she's so short, by the time she gets the seat right, her knees bang on the steering column. But it's a fun car. You know, not that heavy. Oh, my God. I can lift almost anybody. And you're welcome to come up, drive that thing, and I just, you know, I just tell them to keep it between 2 and 6. Nobody has ever had the trouble on New York State roads doing 75 with that car because it just holds the road so well with this mid-engine balance. And I got really good tires on it this year, so it's probably even better. W2SDR at N9PVF.
Yeah, with that limited mileage, your tires will probably dry rot before you ever wear them out. I got 20,000 miles on my WRX now, and well, I put winter tires on it in the winter, so it's hard to tell how many miles I have on each set. But I'll probably maybe get one more year. I don't put that many miles. Of course, 2.5 years old, so that's the only car I have. So I don't drive all that much actually. With only 20,000 on a 2.5-year-old car. I guess I bought it. What was it? October or November of 16. So yeah. Yeah, so there you go. Well, it sounds very nice. Yeah, I got a Boxer engine in my Subaru Turbo on that car, and yeah, I enjoy cars. You know, the Porsche that I would love to have is a Panamera. That's the one I want. But that's way out of my price category. Unless I get some surprise inheritance or win the lottery, but man, I guess the one I'd want's probably around $100,000. But that's quite a car, man. I love that car. Oh, I wouldn't mind a 911 either, I guess, but I guess you really can't have a 911 as a daily driver. I guess you can. You don't see too many of those around, but I don't know. Just sit here dreaming about one, I guess, but 911 Turbo. There you go. Now you're talking. Yeah, baby, that's the car, man. There's quite a history behind that car. Yep. Something else I wanted to comment. Oh, you could put. You got to spend the money though, man. But you could put a mute on that receiver there. Just get that MFJ thing, and that'll mute the antenna connection, switch antennas for you. And there's an auxiliary input on that you can configure to, if you use a external speaker on your receiver, run the external speaker through the auxiliary jack, and then it'll mute your speaker. It'll quiet your speaker, open up the speaker lead, and switch the antennas. What else could you want there? Go ahead.
I emailed MFJ to ask, but what I wanted to know was whether or not it was sensitive enough for the width. That way I don't really have to run coax over to the transmitter. It wants to see input from the transmitter. And yes, it would do everything and mute. You just dump it into, I don't know if that one allows you to put it into another load. So there's another company out there that makes stuff for small radios. I want to say Palomar Electronics, but that's not right. It's a $20 kit. And it does everything I want. So I emailed them. And I drew up a block diagram to make sure. So if I could just get by with like 6-inch width, because there's a ton of RF there. I have a Heathkit field strength meter. And it always has a nice reading on it. I mean, I can tweak the pot. But that's exactly what I want to do, but I want to do it quite slightly differently. So MFJ's original answer was yes, so I sent him a block diagram. Here's 6 receivers. Here's 3 transmitters. Here's this thing over here with no mute. Will your device trigger the TR switch? Remember, I still ground the input to all the receiving lines when I'm talking. But the problem is, this thing still is picking up RF from, the coax going from the TR switch where I have everything coming in. So all I have to do is either open the speaker line or ideally just dump it into a load, which is what I'm doing right now. So I want to do it. So I said, I might as well try this. And so I was on the 7 to 9 net. It takes a long time to get around 10 guys. I spliced up some 18 gauge speaker wire, put it all together. It worked. And I doesn't seem to overload the radio. I'm watching the SW signal strength. It's only 2/3, so it won't hurt. Anyway, it's not a kid. I just want to make sure that they think it would work off the whip. That would save me the hassle of trying to splice into the TR switch, because I also do it without the TR switch when I'm running the switch, or I don't use it with the camera. W2SDR. And SWA had a similar, if not identical, fingerless protector, the RA, and it was much cheaper. So I got that from the used from somebody for about $400. Now they're almost worthless because Drake came out with this other version of the receiver, completely different format, and they got it at $200. That's going to be worthless. What are you going to do? W2SDR, N9PVF.
Why is it worthless? You mean you want to try to trigger that RF sensed relay without it actually being hooked up, just by picking up RF in the air? Is that what you're trying to do? Hello, you still there?
Sound like it. Hey, old Frank, KA3PTX.
Yeah, I can't follow him there. Everything's so complicated, man. It's like all you need is an antenna relay. I don't know. Anyway, how you doing there, Ed? Top of the evening to you. Good copy over here this evening. Coming through good on the SDR here tonight. Here with the $5 microphone and the $3,500 radio. KA3PTX, W2SDR, I think it's a group.
Are you running a condenser mic?
Yeah, it's a one I get from China there. It's an electric mic just plugged into the front of the radio. It was, I think it was $6.49, something like that.
Yep. Yeah, those things do amazingly well, don't they? This electric condenser. Yeah. Well, I just got back from disc golf. Played 18 holes at Brandywine. Steve Park. On the motorcycle to the state park. Played 18 there and a couple guys, and then just got home here. Put the radio on, heard you guys. So, anyhow, I guess I don't know what Dave was talking about. Something about muting and relays, or I don't know. Just caught the tail end of that. Anyway, hello David if you're there. And yeah, nice warm day in the neighborhood. We were out there with t-shirts on in February playing disc golf, so that was pretty cool. Cut out of work a little early, about 2:30. We were playing at 3, so it's like the peak of the temperatures there around 3 o'clock, I believe. So anyhow, wonder what you've been doing over there during the day. Still probably getting up early. This guy at work, the machinist, I don't know if I told you the story, but he's 82 years old, our machinist. He works in the firm, he's still working, 82. I think he just turned 83, matter of fact. He's got a weird schedule. He comes in, he goes to bed at 6 p.m. at night. So in a half an hour, he's in bed. He gets up at 2. He makes bacon and eggs and like a whole pot of coffee at 2 o'clock in the morning. And he does work around the house and everything. He's at work at 5. He works 5 to 1, I guess. 5 to 2. And then he goes home. And he's got a long drive. He drives from Wilmington to Smyrna. It's like an hour, so he gets home like 3. That's 3 hours. And then goes to bed at 6. Up at 2. Been doing that for like 50 years or something crazy, he was saying. So, yeah. But yeah, he's got no desire to retire. He's 83. Oh, no, got plenty of work to do here and got a lot of projects around the house. He's building a deck and just bought a new truck and a new shotgun he's going hunting. And man, nothing slowing him down. The W2SDR KA3PTX.
Excuse me, what was that?
W2SDR N9PVF, I'm back.
Okay, I didn't know you went. W2SDR in the group with KA3PTX. Well, what's so odd about that guy's schedule? I mean, he thinks your schedule's probably odd. My schedule's not that much different, to be honest with you. I'm in bed by 8 usually. 7:30 or 8, and I'm up at 4. What's there to do at night? Unless you go out. I mean, sit there. What do you do at night? Like between 6 and 10, whenever you go to bed or whatever. Watch TV or, you know. I don't think you and Bridget go out a lot, do you? Or maybe you do. But I always found there was nothing to do. Just sit there in front of the television, or I wasn't much on getting on the air at 8 or 9 or 10 o'clock, you know, and I don't know, I guess I'm much more of a morning person. I like getting up and drinking a big pot of coffee and talking on the radio and stuff like that, and, you know, I ride my bike, you know, when it's nice out early in the morning before it gets hot. You know, and that kind of stuff. Just different schedules, I guess. But one of the main reasons I started going to bed real early is because when I lost 50, 60 pounds, all I could think about at night was wanting to eat. Sitting in front of that TV, wanting to have a beer, or wanting to order a pizza, or eat something, or snack. But just to sit there for 2 or 3 hours. But now that I'm retired, you know, and I'm living by myself here, it's I start my new job next week, volunteering at the hospital. I'm going to be a volunteer. I got to get out more socially here, so Gonna get out and start. Well, that's why I'm looking forward to the spring and the weather getting nice with all my cycling friends and get out and doing some stuff. Pretty isolated here where I live, and be nice to get when the weather breaks and get outside. Get outside a lot more. That's for sure. So, I guess today I had an appointment with a friend of mine at 1 o'clock. Streamed 2 or 3 shows on Netflix this afternoon. Did some cooking this morning before I went. So I'll be eating that tonight for dinner. Let me get it over to David there and see how he's doing with you, Ed. Both you guys are coming through very well here on the old SDR this evening. N9PVF with KA3PTX, W2SDR.
W1AEX.
Okay, well, you have to wait till I unkey. I heard EX, so I know who that is. Hi, Rob. Go ahead, David.
We'll pick you up in the second row. I think it was W1AEX. David, N9PVF, Papa Victoria, Florida, Hogan, Massachusetts. About to get the dinner call. Pardon me, so it's been going from Frank to Ed to me, so I suggest Frank to Ed to you. Frank to me. So Ed, I'm trying to come up with an automatic TR switch to protect the SW8, which has a synchronous AM detector in it. And right now I'm doing it with the old-fashioned way with a switch and a resistor to short put the power from the audio system into a resistor rather than open or short. No, you don't want to short it. Very good on the volunteering, Frank. I'll leave you with this thought. Dimethyl sulfoxide, DMSO, and cobluven. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to the X station, and I'm going to go upstairs to have dinner. N9PVF.
Hi, Dave. Hello, Ed. Hello, Frank. N9PVF, W1AEX. I'm going to pass it right over to Ed in case he's got something to pass on to you, Dave. KA3PTX in the group W1AEX.
Okay, very good. W1AEX. I think the handle was Ron. Oh, boy. We've worked, it's been a while. Anyway, handle here is Ed Echo Delta QTH Wilmington, Delaware, running a super senior, about 300 watt carrier. Listening to you guys on an R390A dipole. 80 meter dipole up about 40 feet. The Apex D104 mic. That's the rundown here. Very good. Well, 7-3 there, David. I guess have your dinner and maybe catch you when you get back. And I was just going to thumb through my log book here. I'm still old school here. I got paper log, you know. Not stepped it up yet to a logging program or anything. I could fiddle. It's actually an ARRL paper log book. Yep. But anyway, I really only write down like the new stations that I work. I'm not going to write down W2SDR every night I talk to them, or David or Steve or Charlie, like somebody I haven't worked in a while. So you will make it into the call book here. So let me pass it over to you and give me the rundown on your particulars there, and I'll put the info in my log book. W1AEX in the group, KA3PTX.
Okay, Dave, very good. KA3PTX in the group. Whiskey 1 Alpha Echo X-Ray, W1AEX. My name is Rob, R-O-B, Roger Oscar Bravo, and I'm in north central Connecticut, a little town of East Granby. I think we're the smallest town in the state, but not too far from Bradley International, about 5 miles off the end of runway 6. And Frank and I have spoken many times. And it's not too often that we cross over each other's signals, though, on the bands, but just thought I'd drop by and say hello to Frank and to you guys too. Dave, your signal is quite good here into Connecticut, and Ed, your K7DYY is pounding in, and Frank is always rolling in here very nicely. I'm running an Apache Labs, the NAN200D, and driving a solid state amp to about 175 watts of carrier, and the antenna is a double extended ZEP for 40, which makes it about 178 feet long, center fed with 4-inch space open wire line, apex about 60 feet up, and the ends are about 45 feet off the ground. So I'll roll it over to Frank there, because just playing with Protocol 2 here again, Frank. It's a love-hate relationship, so I'm running it with the 200D, and it's behaving very well with Rick's latest firmware. W2SDR in the group, W1AEX.
Yeah, okay, Rob. W1AEX in the group, W2SDR. Well, it's great hearing you again. That's right. Our paths used to cross a lot before, and for some reason, I'm usually here right around this frequency, around 4:30 to 6:30, something like that, and I get up on 85 once in a while, and spread myself around. I no longer have the 200D. I sold it to my son. I have a 7000 DLE now, and I'm using a LD Moss amplifier, running at about 300 watts of carrier. It's one of those RF kits from Germany. So for 300 watts of carrier, I'm driving it with 2 watts of carrier at the present time. So it's very efficient. And I wonder what your look is on all these new Apache Lab / Anon models. Now they got the 7000 that I have. I understand they don't make anymore. So they make a 7000 with an i5 computer and a 7000 with an i7 computer built in. And the regular 7000 is the same case, but it just doesn't have a computer in it. And I'm not sure if any of them are available, because none of the outlets seem to have any of them. So anyway, that's that. So I guess I've got one of the last, or I've had mine now maybe 3 or 4 months. When did I get it? August, of the blue face jobs like your 200D. So I don't know, but I'm happy with it. I'm using Protocol 1. I have 2 on here. I flip back on the fly between the 2 of them, and I've had nice luck with 2. I miss not having the Alex button on the front panel. I'm not sure if that was a mistake or is that going to come back. Pure signal seems to work okay. There's some anomalies, as you probably detected, with what's memorized and what isn't. Like I enjoy in this protocol that when you switch modes, it'll also switch your transmit profile that you were using for said mode. But of course, with the Protocol 2, you have to manually switch your transmit profile when you switch modes. But, we know what the story is, but it seems to work okay. So I go back and forth. Ed, that's Ed, KA3PTX, Ed, and that's Rob, Roger, Oscar, Bravo, Ed. So get you guys on the same page, and both of you fellows are very, very strong down here into southern New Jersey tonight. K3PTX and 7-3, Dave, you're still within earshot, I'm sorry, W2SDR.
Okay, very good. W2SDR in the group, KA3PTX. Okay, Rob, right, I had it as Ron. Rob, okay. Well, we haven't worked in a long time, or I didn't write it down. I thumbed through my paper log, and I didn't see your call. So anyway, good hearing you. Big signal here into Wilmington, Delaware. And, yeah. Frank, well, you said, what do you do at night? Well, I mean, it's like, well, what do you do during the day? Well, you just said, what you do during the day. You did some cooking, you met somebody, watched Netflix, streamed some Netflix. All those things you mentioned during the day is what I do at night, right? So, I'm working during the day. Anyway. But I get on the radio a little bit, and I'll dinner, and then I go out in the garage and fiddle with motorcycles or stuff or projects here in the basement. And I don't stay up late. 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'm in bed. But anyway, but I don't think you're up at 2 o'clock in the morning cooking bacon and eggs every morning, and a big pot of coffee at 2 a.m. Got the bacon already sizzling. That's you're maybe 4 a.m. You're getting out of bed, but the guy at the machine, I think 2 a.m. It's a little unusual. Maybe 4 maybe isn't, but anyhow. But yeah, he probably thinks that my schedule's unusual too. So to each his own. Well, very good on the volunteer work, Frank. I did that. I did that at the Children's Hospital here, the AI Children's Hospital. About 10, 15 years ago, I was a volunteer. I had to go for training, and they had to do a background check on you, and police checking all this, because I guess it's a children's hospital. They didn't want any, nuts in there, pedophiles or something. But anyway, I was a volunteer at the Children's Hospital. I had to, wheel the children around in wheelchairs or whatever they wanted me to do. I did that for a while. My brother-in-law and sister did it too. So we were kind of there together and worked in the ER a lot, and take kids to the X-ray or whatever. It was pretty interesting. I was doing that at night. I'd work all day and come home, have dinner, then I'd go over there at 7 to 10 or something like that, or whatever it was. So there you go. So back over to you, Ron. Sounds like you're okay. I got the particulars here. You're now in the logbook. Your QTH, your radio, your name. So that's good. So back over to you. We usually, sometimes this is like the witching hour here. Sometimes I could unkey right now, and you guys are both gone. That's what's happened sometimes. Like 20 of 6, 6. Other times we make it to 7 o'clock. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. So anyway, back over to you, Rob. W1AEX in the group. KA3PTX.
Okay, Ed and Frank, and good evening, Dave. KA3PTX, direction of the call. In the group, this is W1AEX, Whiskey 1 Alpha, Echo X-Ray, which is a vanity call sign. My call used to be WB1AEX, but when I retired, I dropped the B, figuring it would be much easier on CW to leave out that every time I sent my call. So, I'm guilty of not really playing too much with CW like I plan to. So, I do okay, but I'm one of those guys who the sweat starts to form on my forehead when I hit 18 words a minute. That's any more than that, and the pain starts to come. In any event, both of you have big signals, as did Dave as well, so it's rolling in just fine. Frank, yes, those LDMOS amps from the RF kit guys in Germany, those are beautiful. I've spoken to several guys who have them. They like them very much. They like the fact that if something goes wrong, they know they can roll their sleeves up and dig in there and probably figure out what's wrong, which is always nice. I feel good about that with my AL82, which I usually run in the wintertime here for AM linear, but I haven't done it so much this time. I've been playing around with the solid state amp just because I'm lazy and there's no tuning, and I can just flip the band switch. It's like having a 1200 watt radio, just kind of auto tunes and everything, so it's not anything I have to worry about. So very lazy, and I've become very lazy, and that's what I use. And yes, the feature you mentioned where you cycle through your band stack and you're switching modes for wherever you are and the transmit profile follows. I fervently hope that the next version 2.6.3 of Thetis that lands sometime soon, that they carry that over. I don't know how much Warren is involved now, but I know Doug can probably port that over when he's working on it. Any event, that will be nice, and it behaves pretty darn well right now, all the way from 160 to 6. Pre-distortion works, everything seems to work. I don't have VAC glitches or anything, so I guess I'm counting myself to be on the lucky side. I used to have a lot of plate modulated rigs. I sold my big 4-400 rig that I put together back in the late 70s, early 80s. I sold that 2 winters ago, but I kept my E.F. Johnson Viking rig, the Viking 3, which is sitting across from me on the other operating bench. But I have to say I'm guilty of not warming those filaments up for maybe a whole year or so. I have no idea what will happen if I throw the switch on that. I got a feeling it would be just fine, but it's one of those things I'll have to do before the winter time goes by. Well, as far as evening activities here, I've fallen into the online gaming thing, so my wife will watch her programs, and sometimes I'll watch those with her, and other times I'll walk over and I join up with the same bunch of old guys, bunch of old men gone wild, and we cruise the mean streets of New York in a game called Tom Clancy's The Division, and we keep the streets clean and defeat the various factions that have taken over in the apocalypse. So that's what I do to amuse myself in the evenings when I'm not playing with this stuff. I have to admit I don't spend too much time with this stuff in the evenings. Anyway, you guys are rolling in great. I'm very familiar here with this area of the band. I used to come down here almost all the time and talk to the guys down in the mid-Atlantic states there, Derb and Rick, W3RSW, and sometimes Steve, K2HX would get in there, and and Paul, VJB, but I found that they don't hang out here that much anymore, if at all, so I float down sometimes and just see who's here. Usually I run into Jerry, W2ZB, or is it W1ZB? I can't even remember now, but yep, you're right, the band can fall right out from underneath you. Go ahead, Frank, W2SDR and the group W1AEX.
Yeah, okay, Rob. Well, some of the guys from up in your neck of the woods come down here. Paul, I used to talk to him every morning really early. It's W2SDR. We used to get up at 4:30. Used to hear Paul all the time on this band. Jerry, I haven't talked to in a while. But some of the other guys, WA1SOV, do you know Pete? Jerry, WA1FNQ, they're down in this section of the band pretty regularly, either here or up on 3715. Timmy will come down here in the mornings, okay, with KA2J sometimes. About 8 o'clock, some of us get on down here on 3720. So there's some activity. Finally, game. My brother's a big gamer. He stays up half the night. I don't even know golf he does, other things. I don't know exactly what he does, but he's the opposite of me. He's up all night and sleeps half the day. As far as the old equipment, I have another operating position here that I have a modified ICOM 751A that I'll use, my old FT101 stuff that I use, and they're all mated with an AL82, which I love that amplifier. I'm sure you do too. That's one of the tube amps that I won't get rid of. Obviously, it's very robust. It's a great amp. But my night kit stuff, all that stuff, those transmitters I used to use, plate modulated, homebrew modulated, and what have you, I still have them. I just don't use them. So, and I've used VAC off and on with this. Right now I'm just using an electric condenser mic, but I have the VAC stuff, and I found that it's with the latest version of the firmware and all software for Protocol 2, it's flawless. But I change stuff around a lot. The RF kit has been a great amplifier, and with the built-in L network tuner and what have you. So I'm all over the place with this, and just, it's unlimited memories in the tuner, so it makes it very, very convenient. So I'm active on a lot of the different bands. And I think those things, Rob, are oversights, I would think, that we mentioned with the transmit profiles, switching with mode, the Alex button not on the front panel. I think they're minor things that could be corrected. So we'll see. We know what radios we have and why we have them, you know, and the ups and downs. And but basically, I mean, I love the rig. I won't have anything else as my main radio. So there you go. As far as the, I got my volunteer orientation ad on the 11th next Monday. And we'll see. I'm gonna do it a couple of days a week. I don't want them to rope me into like being a full-time guy. Sometimes when you're the new guy, they want to pile stuff on you. So I'm not going for that. I might go for 2 mornings a week or something. I want to get my feet wet first before I jump in too heavy. Well, as far as the 2 a.m. stuff, that guy's schedule's a little off. And I can understand. You have more of a normal schedule. I know mine's a little tilted towards the early morning than yours is, for sure. So, okay, I'll stick in here for one more round, I guess. And great hearing you down this end of the band, Rob. You know, there's a few of us down here at this time, so it sounds like $1 million down here. So I'll stay in here for one more round. KA3PTX in the group with W1AEX, W2SDR.
W2SDR in the group, KA3PTX. Very good. Well, Rob, you sound like an old, you've been around for a while. Had old boat anchors and transmitters. And with the Valiant 3, I'm not familiar with the Valiant 3. I got a Valiant 1 here, I guess. And I know what a Valiant 2 is, but I'm not sure what a Valiant 3 is. But anyhow, Steve used to be the husband. K2AA. I haven't talked to him in a while. And with Derb's son on the keys, so he hasn't been around for a while. Paul BJB occasionally, but not as much as I used to. And yeah, so you know all those guys. I wonder if you used to partake in the well, you're in Connecticut, so I guess you probably never made it down to like the big Gaithersburg Ham Fest that we used to go to in the 80s and 90s, and there was Tim Tron used to come down and a bunch of people, some of the New Englanders, and come to Gaithersburg. That was a big Ham Fest, and it morphed into the Bowie Ham Fest, and then it went away. And then all we had is Timonium, Maryland Ham Fest for a while. That was pretty good, and it kind of petered out. So that was kind of nice to get together and see the guys, you know, in person that you talk to on the air. But yeah, well, good. I remember going to the orientation there, Frank, and I had to sit in a room with a bunch of people, and we had to learn different rules and code of conduct and all kinds of stuff. And yeah, it was a pretty good group of people, older, younger. Group of volunteers, and we have to come in, you log in, so like this computer screen, you log in, and then you log out, so you keep track of your hours, and you know, sometimes you get calls that, hey, somebody can't make it in, can you fill in, or stuff like that. So I think I was doing it like two days a week, something like that, Tuesdays and Thursdays, or anyhow. Yeah, nice to get out and meet some new people. Hook up with some cute nurses and stuff, you know. So, and Roger on the gaming there, Rob. The gaming I used to do, the last gaming I really did was like back in the day with Atari games and Missile Command, and I mean, you know, a couple steps ahead of Pac-Man and Pong. Talking way back in the early days of video games, and my God, they've come such a long way that it blows my mind, and they're so complicated, it seems I can't keep up, so I kind of stayed out of that area, but Yeah, I think they even got like virtual reality goggles you can wear during gaming and stuff, and make things looking like 3D, and it's, you can have a whole alternate world to live in there. And you get tired of the real world. Let's see. Roger all the SDR stuff. Software. I don't have any. The only thing I got SDR here is an ICOM 7300 SDR rig with knobs. I have a dongle. I do have a dongle and some SDR software that I fiddle around with, but no anons, no flexes, or any of that kind of stuff yet. I think I was saying W1AEX and the group KA3PTX.
Okay, very good. KA3PTX and W2SDR, W1AEX. I'll make this one a short one because the band is beginning to do its usual thing where it is open, not like Aurora Borealis exactly, but real quick, real rapid fading up and down. So I think the carpet's about to get yanked out. So I'll go yanked out from under us. So I'll go down the list real faster. Yep, Jerry SNQ and Pete SOB. I actually talked to them during the AM rally this past weekend. It was great to hear them, but I do run across them here. Usually Sunday mornings I'll come down here and run into those two guys, those two characters. And Ed, the short story is that the Viking 3 actually started out as an old Viking 1 that I paid $35 for. It was sitting up in a barn loft down in southern Connecticut, and I paid $35 for it. It only had about 10 minutes of operating time on it because it arced over the first time the guy put the plate voltage on it. And so I got it almost brand new, but eventually it evolved into the Viking 3, which is 361 to 46Ps in the final in a pair of 811As. It used to be in a 6-foot rack with a pair of 6550s driving the grids of the 811As in the Williamson configuration. And that's now morphed into a 4-foot rack that's up here on the other operating bench. But I call it the Viking 3. It has a really sweet Variac on it. It controls the plate voltage for the 811s and also for the 6146Bs, and with the 811As being zero bias, I can run anywhere from about a 1 watt carrier output to about 150 watts of carrier output with that rig, and it sounds quite good. Timmy, I got the modulator from Timmy back at a party that Pete W1SOB had back in the 80s. So it was a fun rig to build, and it still runs just great. Let's see. The Derb and Frank AHE, who passed away, and Dave K3ZRF used to float down here, and he's now gone. The list goes on and on of guys who have moved on. Never made it to Gaithersburg. I did all my shopping at Nearfest, Deerfield, and that's where I still go there, try to go there once a year. I don't make it twice a year, but once a year is good enough. In any event, I'll let you guys go. And Ed, my son works for Samsung Virtual Reality, so he keeps me up to speed on all that stuff. It's beyond me. I'll stay in the real world, but it is really interesting. And the IC7300, if I was going to get a new radio, new knob radio, that's what I would get. I think I might do that before the year is out. I'm going to pass it back up to you, Frank, if you're still there. If not, good evening to both you guys. And Ed, very nice to run into you. W2SDR and KA3PTX, W1AEX.
Okay, Rob. Yeah, I'm still here. You're still 20 over down here. It's a very strong signal. And my son and I are going to come up to Nearfest this year. It'll be the first time in over 51 years of being a ham I've ever attended that ham fest. So hopefully we'll meet for the first time after working each other for many years. And Frank was a good friend of mine. Of course, ZRF, Dave, met him many times. Him and I, those guys, Derb, we've gone back a long, long way. And Bill, DUQ, back into the 60s. So it reminds me, I'm going to look at the calendar to see how old I am. Well, you must say you have plenty of audio there in that Viking 3. I remember hearing that and working you on that transmitter. It's a very, very nice transmitter. And the AM rally was a big success. You know, the BC1T, you know, did a yeoman's job. All the guys that operated the station, a very, very nice representation by the ARRL for the rally weekend. I listened to hours of it off and on during the whole weekend. It was really a great experience. So, and just one more comment about the volunteering. And yeah, I had to go through a criminal background check and all that kind of stuff, which is, I guess, everybody does today for any kind of job. You know, it's a different world, so I don't mind. I was used to with my CDL and driving that school bus for a lot of years. So 7-3 Ed, 7-3's Rob. I really enjoyed it this evening. W1AEX, KA3PTX, W2SDR, QRT, 7-3.
7-3 Frank, 7-3 Rob. Catch you guys later. KA3PTX will be clear.
Frank, that $5 microphone, you got that dialed in beautifully. And Ed, if I didn't say it, the K7DYY sounds beautiful. W1AEX, we'll see you.